No chemicals or preservatives, just 100% honest to goodness hickory smoked meat.
Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
Boy, some chicken wings have really hit the spot.
You ain't got no better food like some chicken wings, some baby back ribs, some fries or something?
That's just two guys talking, am I right? We're just talking.
Hey, howdy, hey. John and Mike in the pit with the record button pressed.
Yes. First time. I love it.
Not making that mistake again.
That was so funny. I'd forgotten about it until I went and listened to it. It was like, oh my gosh. That's so funny.
If you don't know what we're talking about, or this is your first time, take a trip back to last week's episode of Fat Guys with Smokers. The number one undisputed champion of the West.
Yes.
In all things podcasts.
Best podcast in the West. Best podcast? I don't know. Old Yeller? You know?
I don't watch that movie, man.
On dog in the West. You know?
Yeah. I can't do Old Yeller.
Really? You don't like it?
Dude, I am such a dog guy.
Oh, yeah. I get that.
That Marley and Me, man, I freaking bawled.
I've
like,
never seen it because
cried.
I've heard that it is brutal if you like dogs. I have not watched it.
Yeah. No, yeah. My dogs are the children that I got to choose. Like, I'm a big fan of my dogs.
Yeah, I like my dogs too.
So.
They're good boys. John, what's been going on, dude?
School started.
School has started. Hooray.
We can take a moment of silence for Mike while I...
Listen.
While I'm celebrating the fact that my kids are back at school.
I was just telling John, I need to quit being so negative because I've been very blessed. I have a good job. I enjoy it. But, man, it is tough coming back from summer. Like, just...
4 days in, man.
Very small responsibilities, and now it's like, back to... being a real life adult, you know, but it's good. It's good so far. We did my first drives today, so we're in it. We're going for it.
I don't know how. Have you announced your first football game yet?
Yeah, I did last Saturday. So
how was it?
Fun. It was fun. It was definitely fun. They gave me the wrong rosters, so I was reading the wrong numbers, and parents get pissed if you read the wrong name with a number. I had like 4 parents like banging on the door of the booth like, hey, that's the wrong person. And I was like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, this is the roster I was given. So then they printed off new rosters and everybody was happier.
You need it's the Mustang Mafia, right?
Yeah, Mustang Mob.
Mustang Mob.
Yeah.
Still, I feel like you need some muscle, like standing guard at the booth door. Nobody's coming in here.
You want to see him? He's going to make you an offer you can't refuse. That would be pretty awesome.
That is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Oh, it's so good. I never saw it until my adult life, like a couple of years ago. Big fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. I like it. I've got a lot to learn. Like, I used to coach, and so I knew the players, even... Like, though I hadn't done it for a couple of years, I still knew who the players were. This is a whole new roster, so I need to learn who the players are. But it's kind of fun to announce, and I had a good time with it. I don't know. And nobody fired me immediately, so.
Other than the parents.
Yeah, except for those parents.
You can't make parents happy with high school sports.
It's a lose-lose. That's exactly
I've known a lot of coaches, and all of them basically say the same thing, like, yeah, parents are just going to be pissed no matter what you do. Which
I kind of get. Like, we're very protective of our kids. We always think our kid's the best. And so I get it, but it's true. Like, it's a no-win situation for a coach or apparently an announcer.
It's gotten hard anymore because, I mean, I feel like high school athletics is such, like, a bigger deal than when I was in high school.
Right. I agree.
Like, the majority of the kids playing weren't there trying to get a scholarship. And
we're just there for fun. And now these kids have been bred and cultivated to be these athletic stars because all they ever do is play sports, and then yeah.
So
So
it's hard. But this weekend, we start football season for NCAA.
dude, I'm so excited. I love college football.
Yeah, I do too.
I was telling Damon we have a bye that day, and I just want to sit home and just watch football all day.
Dude, come over here.
That would be sweet.
We'll fire up the projector.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
We get smoke some wings. Dude. That'd be sweet.
I'm fully supportive of this idea.
Well, it's very possible that my weekend has already been planned for me by the boss. But if it has not, I'm your man. Faux shizzle.
Yeah. There's just something about football season. The other morning it was like 55 degrees when the kids were going to school, and it just like had a little bit of bite to the air.
Dude.
And
I love fall.
Yeah.
I was out walking my dogs last night. There were no mosquitoes because it was too cool for them. Oh, dude. Love it. I love fall.
yeah.
What you been cooking?
Trying to think. I don't think I've cooked anything. I did that big cook last week for Nibley
All
City.
cooked out.
I need a minute to reset.
I need to come and get some pellets for you because I did a pulled ham on Sunday. Dude, it's
I need to try that.
fantastic. But I mean, it was kind of a last minute. Like, I forgot Whitney had it in the fridge, and I was like, crap, I got to cook that. And we were trying to decide what to do. So I put it on Saturday night and just left it overnight. So it smoked, just kind of hung out by itself, put some sweet rib rub from Oak Ridge Barbecue, which is my favorite if I can find it, but it's hard to find anymore.
Is it?
Because I thought I looked it up and they went out of business, but then Pit Stop had a bunch before they went out of business, so Whitney grabbed me a couple. But and then just let it smoke overnight, put it in a pan with some apple juice and a little barbecue sauce, and then let it keep smoking while we were at church, and then took it off. And I love a pulled ham, dude. That is my favorite.
I haven't
way
done
to
it
eat
yet.
ham.
I need to try it.
10 out of 10 would recommend. I don't love ham. I mean, it's fine. I don't have any problem with it, but that pulled ham, man, it's next level. I really like it.
I've got another pork shoulder in the fridge that I need to do this week for my family. My boys have been begging for swachos.
Oh, swachos.
So that's
Awesome. What else do you put on it besides just cheese, chips, and pork?
Yeah, so we make queso, put pinto beans, sour cream, shredded cheese in addition to the queso.
Okay.
That jalapeno. I mean, regular nacho things.
Yeah. Like 7-layer bean dip, but with pulled pork.
Yeah, so we normally do just like pinto beans, not refried beans.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and
I
sometimes
can get on board with that.
Yeah, sometimes we'll kind of smoke those even a little bit, almost like baked beans, but not quite baked beans. More like,
How do you do them? Just out of the can?
yeah, just out of the can. And
You don't like do the soaking thing or whatever?
No, I mean, I do like pork and beans where you soak the beans and you use a ham hock and all of that stuff. But for this, no, I just use a can, throw some seasoning on them, let them get a little smoke, and then do barbecue sauce over the top of the nachos instead of salsa.
That sounds good. So do you do like a whole sheet pan? Mm-hmm. Ah, that sounds good.
Yeah, we do a sheet pan of them.
I could get on board with this.
Yeah. So that's what I've got coming. My buddy gave me some elk.
Oh.
Yeah, he gave me a couple of pieces of backstrap, and then he gave me an elk tri-tip.
An elk tri-tip, dude.
That
Interesting.
I may do that this weekend.
Yeah. If I go get another elk, I'm pulling some tri-tip off. Interesting.
Yeah, I haven't ever seen one, let alone smoked one before.
Yeah.
So I am excited, but I'm also nervous. Like elk's one of those things that it's real easy to dry out, I feel like.
Right.
So
Yeah, I've never tried smoking it. I mean, It makes excellent steak and everything, but I've never tried smoking it. I bet it'd be good, but you'd have to watch it and maybe add some extra fat 'cause it's pretty lean, I think. But
Bacon.
I like where this is going.
But with football, we wanted to talk about something special today.
Something near and dear to our hearts.
I was going to say, I feel like you might like these more than I do.
I'm a fan. I'll be honest. Chicken wings is what we're talking about. I had my first chicken wing in my adult life. Like, we never got them when I was a kid because they're kind of the throwaway meat. Like, we were just reading a little bit on the history, and we'll talk about that. But it was kind of, I mean, there's not a ton of meat there, and so that was something that people use for stock or whatever.
Yeah, and in terms of food, like, it's actually kind of a newer thing.
Yeah.
Like, in our parents' lifetime is when this dish was invented.
Yeah, and pretty close to our lifetime. Like, it's,
Maybe your lifetime.
Yeah, that's true. I'm way older than you.
I actually think I'm older than
I think you are too, but only by like 6 months. Let's talk about the story there, John, because I had never really put this together, but it makes sense.
Yeah. Buffalo wings, a.k.a. chicken wings, were first made in Buffalo, New York.
Hey-o! That makes sense.
I did know that from my time living in New England. But what I didn't realize is the story that's credited or everyone thinks is the most like valid about their origin story. It's the Anchor Bar in Buffalo in 1964.
1964 is not a very long time ago.
No, it is not.
Most of the things we talk about were like, dude, cavemen used to cook this over fire. Not so much this.
Yeah, but the owner was making a snack for her son and friends, and she grabbed these throwaway pieces of meat and cooked them up, and it was born. And it was like an immediate hit with everybody.
Yeah.
So
it took off. Like, instant hit. So she deep fried them. How legitimate do you think this is? So she deep fried them and tossed them in a tangy hot sauce with celery sticks and blue cheese. Like, do you think that that's legitimately what she did, or do you think the story's kind of evolved to what we love dearly now, you know?
I don't know. I buy the deep fried thing.
Yeah, I can get on board with that.
And I can even buy that was like their house sauce or something.
Yeah, maybe that's true. That's fair.
I think the celery is probably a stretch.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know what blue cheese is used for besides buffalo wings.
Yeah, my dad eats it on a salad.
Yeah.
I think that's gross. But
yeah, my buddy does too, and I think it's a terrible idea.
Yeah. Let's talk about celery. I don't like celery, but it serves a purpose when it comes to chicken wings, doesn't it? Is it like a palate cleanser or a cool down or what?
First of all, I want to go on record. I love celery.
Do you really?
Especially with buffalo wings, but ants on a log,
Really?
loaded up with cheese, whatever it is.
Oh, see, I don't mind it cooked in something like a chili or something, but I'm not a fan.
No, but I think I used this analogy earlier tonight. It is a vehicle to get dressing or peanut butter, whatever it is, into your mouth. And I think that is the palate cleanser, or at least the like when you're eating really
The
hot
reset.
wings, like you want to get dressing in your mouth to like cool things down.
Yeah.
Post haste.
We were just kind of talking. I just said, "Hey, what do you think about wings? What do we want to talk about?" John goes, "Mostly ranch, and how they are just a vehicle to get ranch in my mouth." I was like, "That's awesome."
No. So let me do a shout out. Anyone in Utah, and I'm nervous to do this. Last time somebody shouted them out on social media, it almost shut the restaurant down.
Oh, really?
They had so many people show up to like try it out.
Uh-huh.
It was on like the Utah Foodies web Facebook group.
Uh-huh.
And they they started running out of food at like 7 o'clock every night all week, and they kept like making more and more. So Louis Pizza in Layton. It's right off Main Street, like across the street from where the Harbor Freight and NPS store.
Okay. Kind of by Crown Burger?
Further south and on the other side of the road.
Okay. All right. I'm with you.
Across the street from Krispy Kreme.
Okay. Right.
Where the old Reams was.
Okay.
So, yeah, little pizza place that my mom's cousin bought, and it is by far the best pizza in the state of Utah as far as I'm concerned.
Louis Pizza. We're down there a
Louis
lot.
Pizza.
I need to get this address from
Do
you
it, man. It's awesome.
My family loves pizza, and I'd be willing to try something different than Little Caesars.
It's definitely like your hometown pizza, and they've got a cool arcade next door that like everything's a quarter. You just go and play.
Oh, cool.
So it's pretty awesome. But probably the second best thing. The first thing I should have looked it up. It's like the piggy pie, I think is what it is.
Okay.
That's the best pizza on the menu. You have to get it when you go there.
Piggy pie.
Yeah, piggy something.
Are there olives?
No.
Okay, good.
It's like bacon and Alfredo garlic sauce and deliciousness.
That sounds good.
I would never do anything with olives on it.
I hate olives.
No. But the ranch dressing there, it's house made, and it is the most delicious ranch in the entire world. It's like rich and creamy, like it's got a consistency that is perfect.
Wow.
It makes you dream about wanting to eat lettuce. Again, because it is a vehicle.
To get ranch in my mouth.
Yeah. But we were talking about wings the other day, and I've been dreaming about wings, and all I can think about is just like hot buffalo sauce dunked in ranch. And like that contrast of like the creamy saltiness of ranch with like the bite of the buffalo sauce.
So good, dude.
I am all about it.
So good.
Kimberly, I don't even think you listen to my podcast. But if anyone knows my cousin Kim,
Yo, Kim.
tell her to send me the recipe.
We're going to hit you up.
No, but it's legitimately good enough. Like, I would go down there just to buy a quart of the
Just
of
for
the
the ranch, huh? Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So go check them out next time you're in Layton. But when you're having wings, there are some decisions that have to be made.
Indeed.
And I'm curious what your opinions are on these.
Okay.
I have pretty strong opinions.
Okay, what are we
Surprise,
talking about?
surprise.
Yeah.
Surprise. Yeah.
Surprise.
First off, bone in or boneless?
Listen, it bothers me sometimes to eat things like a caveman, right? To like, I don't know, like gnaw the meat off the bone when I could just have something boneless and like a chicken nugget. Wings, they're not like that. Like,
Dude,
I gotta have the bone in there.
I was so worried you were going to say boneless.
So listen, all right, this is a terrible example. But
if you're watching this on YouTube, go back and look at my face as Mike describes
I
this.
could feel it. I wasn't even looking at you.
I was like
could
ready
feel
to
it.
like bang the gavel of the Scrub Daddy cup.
No, so listen, I love the wings from Domino's. They are horrible. They are basically microwaved, but I love their mango habanero sauce that they put on them. So huge fan of those. So one day I was like, I wonder if I would get more if I just did the boneless. It was not worth it. It was bad. It was bad.
They're breaded.
Yeah. It's basically Tyson chicken nuggets that they toss in the sauce or whatever. Yeah. So.
And I get it. Some people don't like the mess. They don't want to get their hands dirty.
It is very messy. That is true.
Like, I get it. That's fine. Go to McDonald's.
Yeah. Wings ain't for you tonight.
Yeah,
if that's the way you feel.
Like, Boneless chicken wings are not chicken wings.
Yeah. Also, the technique that you we've talked about wings before on here. And you talked about, and maybe it wasn't even on the podcast, maybe it was when we were talking privately, how you eat it and you just clean it off. That's changed my life. That is the best.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan. I guess that's only on the shoot now.
The flats?
Yeah, on the flats.
Yeah.
But just
There's a technique for drums too.
oh, go on.
But I think that's the next question. I think you showed your
gotcha.
hand a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Drums or flats? Since we've already established that boneless are not wings.
Yeah. I like the flats. I mean, the drums are fine. I'm not against them. But we've talked on here. I don't really love drumsticks. Mm-hmm. Kind of the same deal. I mean, they're smaller and they're better than drumsticks, but I like the flats better, I think.
Yeah. I'm all about the flats. And you get it in there and then you just pull both bones out. Mm-hmm. You kind of separate the bone a little bit and they come out clean.
See, I used to try to poke a hole in the middle and then I tried that after we talked about it and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. If you haven't mastered the technique, 2 hands, pinch the end of each bone and whole thing in your mouth. And as you pull it out, you scrape the meat with your teeth and you pull the bones apart and it will come clean every time.
And it sounds a little like cavemanish when we describe it.
They're
promise
wings.
It's cleaner and you get more. And I just
you don't end up
I've
with
liked
it all
a lot
over your
more.
face.
Exactly,
it's not in your beard
and your fingers. You just so good.
So the drum technique, not quite as clean.
Sure.
But you take the drum.
Okay.
And you use your thumb and your first 2 fingers at the top of the drum. So the
we're
bulbous part
talking
of the drum is at the bottom.
Okay. So we're just grabbing the little end then.
The little end, you take it and you push down on your basket or plate or whatever you're eating.
Uh-huh.
So you kind of mushroom the meat.
Okay. So you're kind of pushing the meat off of the bone to the bottom. Okay.
And then you can do the same thing, whole thing in your mouth and pull
really?
it off.
Okay.
But the challenge with it is a lot of times there's a big piece of cartilage at the bottom of that drumstick. Mm-hmm. That comes off a lot, and then you've got to
I don't love
fish
that.
it out of your mouth. And
yeah, I think that's one of the reasons I like the drums or the flats because I feel like that's not so much an issue. All the tendons and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Man,
we should have had some wings
I'm
while we're talking about
hungry
this.
while we're talking about
What the
this.
heck is wrong with us?
I know. This is another one that I think a lot of people are going to hate me for. Sauce or dry rub?
I think we've talked about this before, and I think I know what you're going to say. I'm going to go sauce. I'm a big fan of the sauce. It's messy, but I feel like you put a little salt and pepper on them, cook them up, and then you can do whatever you want with them in the sauce.
And I love a dry rub.
Really? What's your favorite?
I don't know if I have a favorite.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Meat Church's Voodoo.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I like that one a lot.
Makes sense.
And I'm blanking. I can see the guy's face. It's Chad Ward. But I don't remember what it's Whiskey Bent. There you go.
Okay.
Whiskey Bent Barbecue. He's got one called Blazing Bird.
Oh, okay.
That I'm a really big fan of.
I've heard about that.
But I love all of them. One of my favorites, and it's got a little bit of sauce on it, is an Asian wing with a blackberry barbecue sauce on it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you use Chinese 5-spice on it.
Uh-huh.
So you get those real strong Asian flavors and then some sweet from the blackberry.
Why do you prefer dry rub to sauce?
I don't love saucy stuff.
Yeah.
Even with my pasta, I like it with less sauce than more sauce, and it's one of the things Haley and I disagree on all the time.
She's a sauce girl. Huh?
She loves her sauce.
Interesting. See, I think I like sauce better, but it is a lot more messy. So, interesting.
So, yeah, total personal preference. Yeah.
All right.
I just like them that way.
That's fair. That's fair.
Probably because I want more ranch to stick to stuff. So
Yeah. All right.
more ranch flavor.
That's true. The sauce would
Yeah.
take a little bit away from the ranch.
Although, as I love this ranch at Louis', I think it's hard to beat buffalo wings, like buffalo sauce on wings with blue cheese dressing.
Really?
Love it.
I don't know that I've ever tried it with blue cheese. I don't think I have. That's not true. One time I went to Buffalo Wild Wings
I
and
feel
they
like
brought
you
some
have
out,
to come
but
over on Saturday now.
maybe I'll have to try it, man. I don't know. My dad used to get blue cheese on his salad when we go to restaurants,
That's
and
wrong.
I just
Nope.
I think I had a bite once and was just like, "What is that?" Because if you're expecting ranch, blue cheese will knock your socks off,
Blue. It is.
and not in a good way.
It is funky.
Yeah.
Like it is. Your dad and Spencer. You know my buddy Spencer.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
He's the one that gave me the elk and something else we were talking about earlier was a Spencer thing too. He loves blue cheese. And he doesn't want like the mild stuff. Like he wants it. He wants to feel it in his toes.
I like a little blue cheese crumble sometimes, but I can't do straight up blue cheese stuff. Interesting.
Yeah. So.
All right.
All right. I think the other thing that we've got to talk about is, techniques on how to cook these. Because like the story says, like I do think that's accurate. Like especially back east, if you're having wings, they're deep fried.
Yeah. Well, I think if you go to a restaurant, I think that's how they cook them, right?
Yeah, a lot of times.
It's quicker, and it's probably, and it's good.
And you get a crispy skin on it that way.
It's hard to do that any other way I've tried. It's possible,
Yeah.
but it's a lot more difficult, I feel like.
Yeah. The first time I ever had smoked wings was in Canada.
Really?
Yeah, and it was a hole-in-the-wall barbecue place around the corner from my clients in Newmarket, Ontario.
Okay.
And I can't... The same thing, like, I can smell the restaurant, like, I can see the inside, but I can't remember what it was called. But they did smoked wings there, and they were freaking phenomenal.
Interesting. No frying at all, then?
No, so that's what I tend to do is I tend to smoke my wings. And I'll smoke them first for, an hour or something at a low temperature, really get the smoke on them. And then I crank my temperature up to 350, 400 and put them out again for 15, 20 minutes just to get the skin to crisp.
Yeah.
But
Interesting. Malcolm Reed smoke-a-fries them. So he smokes them
and then he fries them.
But then he fries them to get the crispy skin. So
and I get that. I think it's hard to keep the smoke flavor when you put them in oil.
Sure. Yeah, I've never done that, but I always do the Vortex. I think we've talked about this. The Vortex in the middle of the Weber. And it's almost like its own little air fryer.
Yeah.
It gets hot enough that it crisps up the skin.
And I think that's your other option is grilling it. And really, you're trying to get the high direct heat on them. So, I know. I love the Vortex, man.
Dude, I'm a big fan. I haven't used my Weber for a while. I need to start rocking it again.
My Vortex almost got run over by the four-wheeler this week.
What? That would be an unforgivable sin for the four-wheeler driver.
Robbie sure thought it was.
Yeah.
Poor kid. Have you ever done so when I guess even when you're frying them, like part of, like one method is to really dry out the skin is to toss your wings in cornstarch and then put them in the fridge overnight.
Yeah. So I did that the last time. I've never done it before. I did that the last time I made them, and big fan.
Yeah.
I thought it worked really well. So, and it dried them out, and it also really gave them like that crispy. It was almost like they'd been dredged and then fried.
And I guess that's a good point. Like maybe it is the same as like dredging them in flour before you fry them, but like no flavor of cornstarch or.
I didn't notice anything because I mixed it. So I took cornstarch and I mixed it with like just some now I can't remember what it was called. Slap Yo Daddy's. No. Yeah, maybe some bird rub. I'll have to look it up and see. Whitney got me some when Pit Stop was going out of business that I just kind of sprinkled in with cornstarch, and so that was the flavor that I got. I didn't notice any cornstarch flavor.
Okay.
I'm sure it existed, but it wasn't the star of the show for sure.
Yeah, that's the one thing I've always worried about. I've never done it before. Like I've just laid them out in the fridge and let them dry out, but I've never put the cornstarch on them.
Well, and I think that's the key. If you are going to try to do smoked or grilled wings, is you've got to let the skin dry out if you want any chance of having crispy skin. If you don't care if it's crispy, do whatever. But I think if you want a crispy skin, you have to let them dry out. And if you're in a pinch for time, you don't have overnight, you could dry them off with a paper towel. It's not going to work as good, but it can still help. So, yeah.
Alrighty. You're a sauce guy. Do you ever make your own sauce?
I don't. We kind of have talked about this with rubs, and I just haven't had a ton of time to experiment with stuff. And so I found some that I really like, and that's what I use.
Yeah,
so.
I don't mind dressing sauce up. Like I'll take Frank's and melt butter with it.
Put a little something in there.
Yeah, but I don't ever try and do my own thing.
Yeah.
We started talking about this a little bit, but what do you like with your... Obviously, you don't like celery.
Yeah.
What do you like to go with your wings?
That's a great question. I think that's why I don't eat wings very much, because I can't think of anything that pairs very well with them. What kind of sides do you put with wings? I mean, besides celery and ranch.
There's sides besides ranch?
My bad. So I'm thinking, I mean, fries come to mind, but I feel like that's a lot of fried stuff. Is that kind of what you do?
I think so. I don't know. Like I'm thinking of when you go to B-dubs. Like you get veggies. You either get carrots or celery. You get you can get fries, coleslaw, and mac and cheese.
Interesting.
Like I think that's the whole B-dubs menu.
I haven't been to B-dubs for years.
I don't think you're missing anything.
That's when I wasn't overly impressed and was very unimpressed at the bill. So
here's the thing. I think you can get a great deal at B-dubs if you go on like their triple nickel Thursdays or whatever, where it's like 15 cents a wing or something. It's the same reason I don't like Texas Roadhouse. It's incredibly loud.
yeah.
And it's like kind of dark that I can't. I'm probably going deaf. My sister's an audiologist, and
You should talk.
I know she listens to this. She's probably gonna like try and drag me in for a hearing test.
Do it, Annie. Check him out.
But like, I really struggle when there's a lot of background noise, like filtering that out and like getting the conversation. Like it just gives me a massive headache.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
I don't love loud restaurants. I think that's why I don't like B-dubs.
Okay.
I think their food's fine.
Yeah. I've only been a couple of times, and I went with my wife and kids, and none of them were super into the food, and so it was just kind of, yeah.
I did do is it called the Blazin' Challenge there or something? You've got to eat, I think, 5 wings of their hottest.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I did that when I was in college.
Oh, how did it go?
It went. I mean, I don't remember it being a pleasant experience, but I also remember being the macho big guy in the room. Like, I don't care how bad it hurts. Like, my pride is worth more than anything.
I will pretend that this is fine.
I will suffer. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
What was I going to ask?
But I don't know. I think
I don't remember.
mac and cheese is probably our go-to.
Okay.
Because Haley just, man, her mac and cheese
rocks the mac and cheese.
slaps.
It's bussin'.
Yeah. Any new lingo from the high school this year so far?
Not from the high school yet, but I tell you what, my kids are driving me nuts with this skibbity
Ohio.
crap. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't. Yeah. And Sigma's a new thing. Like, what the Sigma? I looked it up. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just like a filler word, but oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So,
it makes me use bad words.
right?
So,
Yeah.
alrighty. Well, I think we've covered it.
Yeah, I feel all right about it.
I mean, the other thing I think we've talked about, ranch versus blue cheese.
There's quite a divide. I feel like the diehards are blue cheese all the way. Mm-hmm. I feel like you get ranch and they like almost make fun of you or look down on you.
Well, yeah, I think it's almost like a generational thing. It's like
Yeah.
your dad and his buddies expect you to have blue cheese if you're a real man, and when you ask for ranch, it's like, oh,
Oh, cute.
Cute.
When did we bring the children? Yeah.
yeah. Where I think we all know how I feel about ranch at this point in the episode.
Yeah, for sure.
But blue cheese is funky, man. It's great, and I love it with buffalo sauce. But you can do yourself dirty with blue cheese.
I'm willing to try it, but I love ranch, man. Maybe, like you said, maybe it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
Grew up eating it on pizza, and it's just my favorite thing. But
Actually, that's got to be a Utah thing.
what's that?
Ranch on pizza.
Really?
I had never once thought to put ranch on pizza until I moved out here.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
We did that when I was growing up in Idaho, but Rexburg was basically a
I was going to
province of
say,
Utah.
isn't Idaho just like North Utah?
Yeah, at least that part, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Alrighty. Well, I'm hungry officially at this point.
Right.
Mike's
Hopefully
going to
it's
come
not
help
too
me
bad.
with a project this weekend.
Yeah.
Sorry, Whitney. But until next time, I'm John.
I'm hungry.
That's Mike.
And we're fat guys with smokers.
Thanks for listening to the Fat Guys with Smokers podcast. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to subscribe so you don't forget to tune in for even more nonsense from a couple of Fat Guys with Smokers.
Don't forget to like, subscribe.